Welcome to the True Crime channel. Tonight's video is about the brutal murders of the Setagaya family.
Mikio Miyazawa, his wife Yasuko, and their children Nina and Rei, were murdered during a home invasion by an unknown assailant who then remained in the family's house for several hours before disappearing. Japanese police launched a massive investigation that uncovered the killer's DNA and many specific clues about their identity, but the perpetrator has never been identified. On the 31st of December 2000, at 10:40 a.m., 44-year-old Mikio Miyazawa, his 41-year-old wife Yasuko, and their children, 8-year-old Nina and 6-year-old Rei, were discovered by Yasuko's mother, Haruko, at their house in the Kamisoshigaya, Tokyo. Mikio, Yasuko, and Nina had been stabbed to death while Rei had been strangled. Crime scene investigators quickly determined the family had been murdered on December 30th at around 11:30 p.m. It is believed the killer stayed in the house for several hours after murdering the family. The killer entered the house through an open window of the second-floor bathroom at the rear of the house, and gained access by climbing up a tree and removing the window screen. The killer used his bare hands to strangle Rei, sleeping in his room on the second floor. Mikio rushed up the first-floor stairs after he detected the disturbance in Rei's room, fighting and injuring the killer until being stabbed in the head with a sashimi knife. A part of the sashimi knife's blade broke off inside Mikio's head. The killer then attacked Yasuko and Nina with the broken knife, then used a santoku knife from the house to murder them. The killer remained inside the house for 2 to 10 hours, using the family's computer, consuming 4 bottles of barley tea, a melon, and 4 ice creams from their refrigerator, using their toilet without flushing, and treating his injuries using first aid kits and other sanitary products, and taking a nap on a sofa in the second-floor living room. Some of the family's drawers and papers were ransacked, with some being thrown in the bath and toilet, and some money was taken, although more was left behind. Surprisingly, the killer also left 10 items behind on the family sofa. These items were a knife, a muffler, a hip bag, a sweater, a jacket, a hat, a pair of gloves, shoes, and 2 handkerchiefs. After analyzing Mikio Miyazawa's computer, it revealed that the computer connected to the internet the morning after the murders at 1:18 a.m. and again at around 10 a.m., that is around the same time Yasuko's mother Haruko entered the house and discovered the murders. Haruko became suspicious after being unable to call her daughter, because the killer had unplugged the phone line. So she visited the house but received no answer after ringing the doorbell. Authorities believe the killer had stayed in the house until at least 1:18 a.m., but the computer usage at 10 a.m. could have also been triggered by Haruko accidentally moving the mouse during her discovery of the crime scene. After a long investigation, police were able to deduce several very specific clues to the perpetrator's identity, but still have not been able to produce or apprehend a suspect. It was determined that the killer had eaten string beans and sesame seeds the previous day after analyzing feces from the killer, which was left in the Miyazawa's bathroom. They determined that the clothes and sashimi knife left behind by the killer had been purchased in Kanagawa Prefecture. Police also learned that only 130 units of the killer's sweater were made and sold, but they have only been able to track down 12 of the people who bought the sweaters. Trace amounts of sand were also found inside the hip bag that the perpetrator left at the scene. After analysis of the sand, it was determined to come from the Nevada desert. To be precise, the sand came from the area of Edwards Air Force Base in California. Investigators found the killer's DNA and fingerprints throughout the house, but none matched their databases, indicating that the killer did not have a criminal record. Physically, the killer is believed to be around 5 feet, 9 inches tall and of thin build. The police estimate the killer was born between 1965 and 1985, 15 to 35 years old at the time of the incident. Due to the physicality required for entering the Miyazawa house and committing the murders, the Miyazawa's wounds indicate that the killer is likely to be right-handed. The killer's blood was gained during an analysis of the murder scene that revealed traces of type A blood. which did not have belonged to the Miyazawa family. A DNA analysis of the type A blood determined the killer is male and possibly mixed race, with maternal DNA indicating a mother of European descent, possibly from a South European country near the Mediterranean or Adriatic Sea, and paternal DNA indicating a father of East Asian descent. In early April, about 100 days after the murders, police found something interesting. Originally brought in as evidence, they had discovered a small Buddhist statue less than a mile away from the Miyazawa home. That statue was in the image of Jizo, a Buddhist deity that protects children in the afterlife. In Eastern Asian incarnations of Buddhism, Jizo is said to protect children in the afterlife who die before their parents, keeping them safe from demons as they ascend to the spirit world. Police originally brought this in as a piece of evidence, thinking that perhaps the killer had left it behind as a sign of guilt or remorse. Regardless of who placed it there, along a creek bed in the Setagaya province close to the family home. It remains a tragic reminder of the crimes committed to the Miyazawas. The investigation into the murders is among the largest in Japanese history, involving over 246,044 investigators who have collected over 12,545 pieces of evidence. All evidence related to the case remains in custody. In 2015, it was reported that 40 officers were assigned to the case full-time. In 2019, it was reported that 35 officers were still assigned to the case. To this day, the case remains unsolved. All evidence related to the case remains in custody. Every year, locals and police makes a pilgrimage to the house for memorial ceremonies.
Thank you all for watching.